James Lynch here for MMA News. Happy to be joined by one of the top featherweights in the division, Shane Burgos, who's got a huge fight. He's taking on a fellow countryman of mine, Hakeem Dawodu, coming up here January 23rd at UFC 257. Shane, how's it going, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you as well. First off, how stoked are you that you're on the same card as Conor McGregor?
It's fun. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it. I don't know what exactly the placement of the card I'm on, but I think any spot on the card is going to be good because Conor's name just draws a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah, people have been talking about that. The fact that you're on a card with McGregor, like your friends and family being like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Like, is that like a thing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was definitely excited about it. I don't ride the hype train or nothing like that when it comes to things like this, but I understand the fans love Conor McGregor, and rightfully so. The dude's he's notorious for a reason, right? So I'm excited to be on a card with probably the biggest. He's definitely the biggest star in the sport's history.
When did you find out about this fight? Because I feel like we found out like a while ago, and you've got like plenty of notice for this one. Is that accurate?
I found out about it. I would say the beginning of November. I was actually they offered me the fight for December 19th, which was last week, and I accepted it. But something ended up happening, and then they asked me if I wanted to still fight on December 19th or if I wanted to keep the same fight but fight on Fight Island on the Conor card. And I said, "Fuck it, I'll keep the same fight on Fight Island. That'd be awesome."
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Let's talk about your last fight with Josh Emmett. What a war that was, man. I mean, I know it wasn't the outcome you wanted, but that's one of those fights that people are talking about as one of the fights of the year. I just wanted to know, what was the feedback from that fight? Because I think you actually won a lot of fans with that performance, even though I know the outcome wasn't what you desired.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was nothing but positive. I haven't had, usually you get some trolls here and there, but I can't remember any negative feedback from that fight whatsoever. Everyone loved it. All the fans gave me a lot of love, and they appreciated the way I came out in that fight. So that's been cool. But I mean, like I said, like you said, it wasn't the outcome I wanted. I fucking lost, and that still stings. It really leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I really hate losing.
What did you learn the most in that fight?
To be patient, man. I was taking risks when I didn't need to take risks, and I was just having so much fun in that fight. That was really it was weird. I was like, dude, this is like, it was such a weird scenario with no fans and the crowd being so quiet, but like all the important people were there, like Dana, Sean Shelby, the commentator. So it was like all your bosses are watching you, but none of the fans. So that was cool, but I stoked it in a little bit too much where I let it get the best of me, where I should have just stayed to my game plan. I got a little reckless when I didn't need to.
Okay. I like the assessment there. And I'm sure there's some bumps and bruises after that fight. When were you actually able to get back to training? Because I know a war like that, you got to take some time off to let the body heal.
Shockingly, yeah, I take my brain health very seriously, so I gave myself some time off of sparring, but I had almost no bumps and bruises. Like literally, I got back on Sunday. I went for a run. I went for a run. I felt good. My legs were fine. My arms were fine. My face had a couple of bruises. I had a little cut under my eye, so I had to let that heal. But that was one of the fights that I came out with almost no injuries.
Now, when they told you about Hakeem Dawodu, you must have been pretty familiar with him because you fought in the same card as him. I was actually at that one, 244, because he fought he fought your teammate, right, Julio Arce?
Yeah, exactly. So I was at his last at that fight too. So yeah, but I've known about him. I'm a huge fan of the sport, so I know almost everyone in my division, especially.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that makes it a little bit easier when you're preparing for an opponent as opposed to like a newcomer or someone you have to go kind of like study tape and all that, or even your coaches. It's just easier, I'm sure, with someone like that. So how do you feel like you match up against him? Because Hakeem is, he'll strike with you. I mean, that's the great thing about getting to fight a guy like that.
Yeah, stylistically, this is just one of those fights where I was like, yeah, man, this makes sense on paper for the matchmakers to do. Rankings wise, it doesn't make 100% sense, which I understand, but like this is kind of like the same position where I was in when I beat Cub, and then I was going into that Macron fight where it was like, this fight doesn't really make sense, but you know what, fans are excited for it. I was like, you know what, I'll defend my spot. Now I'm coming off a loss to Emmett, so now I'm in the position where I feel like I have to defend my ranking. But I love this matchup. Fans are going to be in for an exciting fight for sure.
Was there ever talks of you fighting Dan Ige? I know you guys have kind of been linked before, and I figured that might have been an option with him coming off a loss to Cater in his last fight. Was that ever discussed?
I never got off of that fight. It's a fight that's inevitable. We're definitely going to fight. It's funny. Me and him were in Vegas sometime. We were talking about it. We were like, they're definitely going to match us up sooner or later. And that's another fight that's just going to be awesome. I like Dan a lot. He's a good guy, but that just be such a fun fight.
Okay, there you go. Maybe down the line here. Training camp. Who've been some of your main guys helping you get through this? Camp is still going, but who's been some of your main training partners?
Cherzano, Mike Cherzano, I know he's one Ultimate Fighter. He's been one of my main training partners. He's a very sharp boxer, very sharp kickboxer. So I've been using him a lot. He's a little bit taller, so I've been training with because Hakeem's a little shorter. I've been training Julio a lot, Jimmy Rivera, which is funny because Jimmy's fighting a couple days before me, and then Julio's fighting a week after me. So we're all in camp together, basically.
Yeah, I'm sure it makes things easier when you guys are preparing because the energy is kind of the same. Everyone's getting ready for a fight, right?
Yeah, exactly. Literally, back-to-back, three in a row, three within less than a month.
What's going on with Trezano? I interviewed him, I think, earlier this year, and I was like, he's dying to get back, and he didn't get to fight at all this year, and I don't think it was because he was injured or anything, right? Like, I think it's just he hasn't gotten a fight offer. Is that the deal?
Yeah, he had a little bit of a lingering injury, but he's fully recovered now. He's literally just chomping at the bit to get a fight, so he's just literally been one of my main sparring partners trying to get something, but they offered him, like, a short notice, like, 1 week fight where he's like, I can't make weight on a week's notice, like, but he wants a full camp for his first comeback fight, which I completely understand, too. So I think he should be getting matched up any day now at this point.
Good to know. The weight cut, we got Christmas coming up. How are you navigating through that? Plus the travel time. How do you sort of, deal with that? Cause that's obviously different circumstances than say, fighting in Vegas without a holiday in between there.
Yeah. I guess we're just going to wing it when it comes to that part. Cause I have no clue. I've never been to Abu Dhabi. I've never flown on a flight that long. So I guess I'm just going to starve myself a lot. That's how it seems it's going to go. But as for the holidays, I'm going to enjoy them still when it comes to, not when it comes to eating. I'm going to enjoy them still as best as I can. You know how it goes. There's a lot of food around my family when it comes to Christmas, but I don't want to be a Grinch around my daughter. I don't want to be crappy. So I'm going to just make sure I'm eating all my healthy food so I'm nice and full for the whole day.
Yeah, no, that's smart. And then kind of on that note,
so I'm not going to be greedy.
No, for sure. And on that note as well, like, do you know your corner situation right now, like in terms of like who can go down with you? Because I know it seems like for a lot of the fighters, they do get to bring down all their cornermen.
Yeah, so I got my boxing coach, Ray Velez. He'll be there. He's always wrapping my hands at all my fights. And I'm going to have Louis Gaudino, who's be my first time cornering me, but I'm sure you know him, right? He'll be there with Jimmy a couple days before. And then for the third, it's probably going to be my brother. So my brother will make his cornering debut.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah. What brought on that decision? Just you wanted a family member there? Or?
I had an extra one, and the kid's got a really good eye for it. Like, he's been watching me spar and helping coach in sparring, and he can wrestle. Like, his grappling is ridiculous, too. So he's just another good eye.
Good to hear, man. How's this fight playing out in the 23rd?
I'm winning by any means necessary. I'm coming off that loss. I'm fucking hungry for a win. It's been over a year since I got my hand raised, so by any means necessary, I'm getting that win. Knockout, TKO, submission, I don't care. Obviously, I never, ever want a decision, but if it's going to be a decision, I wanted a clear-cut 30-27, no questions asked, at least.
Yeah, and is there a bit of revenge there just for the fact that Dawodu did beat your teammate? Like is that on your mind? Not personally, but is that in the back of your head knowing, hey, I can get one back for Julio?
Yeah, of course. It's not like a personal thing or anything like that, but yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm going to get this one back for sure.
Does a win here, and especially a finish, does that get you back kind of in the driver's seat heading towards that contender spot in your opinion? Because Hakeem's I don't think he's lost actually since his debut, which was it couldn't have been a worse debut for him against Danny Henry.
Yeah. Yeah, so 100%. I feel like especially this one, the guy's coming off 5 straight wins. He's got a lot of buzz around him. I go out there and I beat him, not just beat him, but finish him. I think that puts me right back into there with the big fights, which I want. I want those co-main event spots again, those main event spots eventually. I know I'm not going to come up with a main event after this one, but I hope to put on an exciting fight, get the finish, and get a big fight after this one.
Why do you think they haven't booked Alexander Volkanovski's next fight? It seems like Ortega is the obvious choice with him beating Korean Zombie, but there hasn't been anything booked. Is there any intel you know as to why that's not happening? Because I don't have a clue.
I thought, didn't they say something for February 27th or something like that?
I think they're still working on it. I just figured they would have maybe booked it by now with the last card in the books. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure it's going to happen. I just think it's weird that they haven't booked it yet.
The only thing I can think of is, there's 2 things I can think of is maybe contract dispute, somebody wants more money, or the other thing is, I don't know how Australia is with COVID restrictions. I don't.
Good point. Yeah,
that might be holding Alex up. I don't know if he can get a full camp in or whatever. So I don't know.
We'll have to see what happens there. You talked about the holidays. What are you and the family doing? Just staying locked down, I guess, because there's not much going on outside, right?
There's a bunch of drive-throughs over here, like drive-through Christmas things. Like me and my wife, my daughter, and grandparents. We took my daughter to. It's like there's a bunch of those inflatable things and lights. You just drive through it for a couple. It takes 7 minutes. So we did that. Other than that, not much. Everything else has been really inside, doing stuff like putting the Christmas tree up with my daughter and stuff like that. Nothing really going on. COVID kind of fucking sucks, man.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what doesn't suck. This fight, January 23rd, UFC 257. Shane, thanks so much for doing this, man. Always great catching up with you. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, shout out to my team Tiger Shulmans. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to my family, my wife, my daughter. I got another baby coming up, so shout out to her too. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Hurricane Shane B. Instagram at Hurricane Shane _ and I think that's it. Shout out to my sponsors. Too many to name, but all you guys can check them out on my page. thank you too for the sport.